For 3 weeks, a formal U.S.-Iran ceasefire has held, yet the water remains crowded with military assets, operating in a tense, heavily armed standoff. This stability is fragile. Diplomatic talks are stalled, following a rejected peace proposal. The legal clock for U.S. military deployment has expired, and opposing forces remain deeply entrenched. The ceasefire has not resolved the underlying conflict. It has merely frozen both nations in a state of high-stakes brinkmanship that could collapse without formal diplomatic intervention. Tehran recently attempted to restart negotiations, submitting a fresh proposal to Washington, routed through state mediators in Islamabad. President Donald Trump rejected the offer immediately. He stated the deal required concessions he could not accept, and characterized the current Iranian leadership as too disjointed to negotiate reliably. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, countered that Tehran will only return to diplomacy if Washington abandons its excessive approach and threatening rhetoric. Both sides have laid out terms the other refuses to meet. With the diplomatic backchannel closed, the only remaining mechanism for engagement is active military deterrence. This image shows an Iranian nuclear complex. The core trigger for this conflict lies within these facilities, Iran's uranium enrichment program. The dispute is binary. Iran demands the right to enrich uranium, while the United States enforces a strict policy of nuclear weapons prevention. While the military enforces this policy abroad, a legal crisis has emerged in Washington. Under the War Powers Resolution, the executive branch requires congressional approval to maintain military action past a 60-day window. That legal window closed on May 1st without action. The Senate has rejected 6 separate attempts to formally halt the war, leaving lawmakers entirely gridlocked. Because the deadline passed without a definitive vote, the executive branch is now conducting a massive overseas military standoff without active, formal congressional authorization. The White House officially informed Congress that hostilities with Iran are terminated, yet in the same letter warned the threat to U.S. forces remains significant. The reality on the water contradicts the claim of termination. Heavy U.S. assets, including the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, remain deployed in the region to enforce the ceasefire and prevent any nuclear escalation. Even with the administration discussing plans to eventually redeploy the carrier toward Cuba, the immediate U.S. posture remains overwhelming, localized force, prepared to engage at a moment's notice. The United States and Iran occupy a distinct gray zone. Kinetic exchanges are paused, but tactical and strategic triggers remain fully active. The uranium enrichment program continues without inspection. The opposing military forces are entrenched within striking distance, and the U.S. Congress remains legally paralyzed. With no diplomatic off-ramp and no congressional oversight, the two nations are locked into a prolonged, unregulated period of brinkmanship, where any miscalculation could restart the war.